Coming up on this episode of the Hitstreak.
When someone's not held responsible for a condition that something could cause, that kind of puts a red flag. Like, that makes my ears go up a little bit. Why?
Here is how Dr. Aaron Pryor changed my life. I used to hide my smile, covering my mouth in photos, holding back in conversations, even avoiding big moments. I didn't realize how much it was holding me back until I got my brand new veneers at Pryor Family Dentistry. It's not just my teeth. It's my confidence, my energy, my entire life. Visit PryorFamilyDentistry.com to book a consultation. Your life-changing smile awaits. Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. If you've got a story that people need to hear, this is your shot. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, today's episode is very special. It's kind of one of a kind in the series that we've done so far. This isn't an interview. It's actually like a real life conversation that we're having real time about everything from faith and family, business, raising kids, all the things that you do in life, all the things that life brings. And we're having it with you. We're inviting you to be a part of it today. So if you hadn't figured it out already, my guest is none other than my bride, my wife, my beautiful wife, Rhiannon. Rhiannon, thanks for the hang today. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming back. I guess it's your fourth time as my guest on the Hitstreak.
It is the fourth time. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. So many things going on, and would love to, and can't wait to share just our conversations at home.
Well, let me kick it off by asking, are you zeroed in?
I'm always zeroed in.
Is your slate clean?
As clean as it's ever been.
So we're talking about our Root Brands supplements, our products that we love so much, Zero In and Clean Slate. We both take them in the morning. Seriously, we can't say enough about that product line, the people behind it, the purpose behind the product line. What's your take on it?
There is nothing else like it on the market. And I want to try everything. Let's find out that trend. I've never experienced anything the way that makes you feel. You know, there's lots of options to try it for reset for this, reset for that, but none of those options get to that cellular level of your body and your health, which is the most important. And that's what makes it so incredibly different.
And it's smooth is the best way I can, like one of our recent advertisements about the stuff that went out. The joke was about having a gentle colon. Everything is just smooth and gentle when it comes to that stuff. A lot of times supplements will give you a real high. The highs and the lows are the lows. And you might even hit that low in a crash landing. This stuff's just a little bit different. It really has changed the game for us, right?
It truly does. And you a lot of those cleanses and things you do, you're going through them. With this company and their regimens and their stuff, you notice a tiny bit, because when your body is truly taking out the trash that's in your body, you're going to feel a little bit, tired, fatigued, those kind of things. But then all of a sudden you start to feel better than you've ever felt. So you only know you're doing it because you just feel different. You feel better. You feel just ready to take on things you never probably could before. I know that sounds cheesy and crazy, but it truly is true. And until you try it, I can describe it all day, but until you feel it yourself, there is no comparison to that.
Well, since we're here, shameless plug, therootbrands.com/hitstreaks, where you get it. Try it out. You can thank us later. So it's hard to believe that 2026 is already underway as we're sitting here today. We're already halfway through January in 2026. 2025 was a banner year for us in the fact that we achieved more in business revenue-wise than we had ever done especially amongst all of the revenue streams and ways that we make money. But it also, we were faced with some of our biggest challenges, both in finance and in personal growth. The finance there wasn't a lot we could control because of fraud, and obviously everybody knows about the catastrophe that happened in our backyard with our pool, which, anytime you're dealing with something like that for a year and a half dealing with legal, and we can't say a lot about it because we're in the middle of it, but it made us have to navigate in a way that we could have never seen coming. And as unfortunate as it was, it made us sharper. Now, personal growth wise, there was a lot of highs and lows. Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you look back at 2025 and you think about those couple things, what comes to your mind?
I think when you are going through those in the last year, it's hard to reflect during the year, but then as the year passes, what comes to my mind is just there's so many things we can't control, and letting that go, and again, cheesy as it is, just letting God sometimes and putting your faith into that. That's a hard thing to do as someone that likes to control everything all the time. That was a big growth for me this year, is just letting go and trusting processes and knowing that I can control the present. I can't do anything about the past except change the future by changing the present.
Well, I agree. I mean, I couldn't agree more. The word faith, it has so much deep meaning, and we talk about it all the time, feeding your faith. And it literally is something that, to feed myself, it's a physical action, right? It's actual action. And when you're feeding your faith, it's a lot of the same. And it comes in quiet places when you're alone. It comes in loud places when it's crowded. But when you find your faith, that's where you're going to find your clarity. It's where the ease of stress, or it's where you find the ease to the stress that's in your life, and you realize that. Look, as the husband, as the father, as the protector of our household, as the leader of our household, sometimes the stress gets to me. Maybe often the stress gets to me. And this is stuff people don't see. It's behind the camera. The camera's not on when that happens, so they see the best of me most of the time. Okay. I don't know. What would you say about how I handle the stress, and what about even the growth that you've seen in me over the last year or two?
Some days are better than others. I often I think I told you one time, sometimes you're a chili pepper jalapeno, and sometimes you're just like a cucumber. I was like, can we just meet in the middle and just maybe be a green or a red pepper that just add the flavor, but not so much all the spice? And I would say,
I still don't know what that means.
Maybe some people will get it. It's hot or cold, right? That's to put it simple. It's hot or cold. We just need warm. And I think in the past year, you've definitely grown in how you handle the stress. You've really took the time to develop that part of your brain, to unlock that. And that's not something that's easy to do, especially when we're human and we just react on habit and patterns. And I think you've changed that pattern a lot in the last few years, even last year the most, for sure.
Well, there's a lot that I've learned, but just by paying attention. One, the hot and the cold, the stress and the pressure doesn't warm up slowly, let's just say, to keep the analogy going. Yep. It gets scalding hot and freezing cold, and there's really not a lot in between. And my job was to give that pace. And a lot of times I let the temperature of the stress or whatever was coming our way dictate my temperature. And that's I realize it when it's happening. I see it, and I realize that there's no way that you guys can see know what's even coming, or know which Nick you're getting or which dad you're getting. I totally see that a lot, like a lot, and it's something that I want to fix. It's something that I want to get better at. The biggest thing is just because I see it in Ethan. It's like looking in a mirror at that dude. And sometimes I'm horrified with what I see, and that's not a shot at him. It's a shot at me. But the pattern thing is crazy strong. And as humans, we love the norm. We love to know it's coming, when it's coming. We don't like surprises. And it's funny too, because a lot of the limitations that we might have are the things we're struggling with. Let's just say Nick and the cookies in the pantry after everybody goes to bed. What's funny, I started realizing that I'd catch myself. It was always the same time of night. I got on the Skinwalker Ranch kick, right? Well, I noticed it was, the show is the same. The cadence of the show is the same. Most episodes are formulated in the exact same way, just with different things happening in the show. Well, I would catch myself, the commercial breaks are at the same time, everything's at the same time. I'm sitting on the same couch in the same position. My phone's in the same spot, my drink's in the same spot, and it was like clockwork. They'd get through an experience, and then Travis is going to tell me what's going on right after the commercial. I'd immediately get up and walk to get something from the pantry. So it was so easy to just literally just change where I was sitting, move the phone to a different place where it was sitting, put my drink in a different spot, or just go to a different room to watch it. And I totally broke that pattern. It was literally that simple. Yet we fight for the things that hold us back a lot with those patterns. When you look at us as a family and the patterns that we have that aren't good, what are some of those that stick out to you? I have no idea what you're about to say right now.
I would say the thing that sticks out the most is lying to ourselves, saying, I'm going to get up and do this. I'm going to get up and do that. And that becomes, I let the circumstances dictate what I actually do. Like last night, for example, Ansley woke up at 2:30 and kept me up for 3.5 hours. And I had planned to get up and do all these things before. And I told myself I was too tired to do it. Like, if I would have told myself, you got this, get up, I probably would have just stayed up and kept it going.
Yeah.
Might not have looked as fresh, but that's on that. But I think another thing too is just, and it kind of goes with, lying to ourselves, is finishing things. We get it to a certain point and then something else comes up. So it's like you get everything to like 85%. And then you start on the other thing and get it to 85%. So then your to-do list just stacks and stacks and stacks.
Yeah. If
I could just focus on getting one thing to the end, then the next thing, then the next thing. And that's something that I think we all struggle with. And that's something that we're attentive about. So I think it'll get better. I know it'll get better.
Well, you know how much we love watching some Nick Saban at the house because he's such a great thought leader, subject matter expert, just critical thinker in general. And he defines discipline as doing the things that you don't want to do, but you know that you need to do it. And you just described discipline. It's, when you want to get up and do certain things at certain times before you got to get ready and everything else. I'm guilty of it too all the time. And again, it's patterns. Once you do it once, it's really easy to do it the next day. I had this mind-blowing thought sitting on the couch one night after everybody went to bed about, working with the amazing people at Smiles for Recovery. We think about recovery a lot. We're all in recovery. I'm in recovery from Oreo cookies. I'm in recovery from losing my cool. And the cool thing about recovery is we look at, when you want to quit something, well, you got to quit it forever. And that's true, but that's a daunting task. It's a big task, and it can be intimidating. What's not daunting is just doing it today. I really only have to be in recovery today. And I only have to get through today. And then tomorrow, I just got to get through today again. So when you can change your focus from the rest of my life to just today, tomorrow doesn't even matter. We don't even know if tomorrow's guaranteed, right? Just today. So it's so easy to break things up and to get those little wins and build up that momentum. And it's wild how things start to change. I'm a big believer in that God doesn't give you something that you want, that you feel you're called for, but you're not ready for. And for me, that's the conclusion that I always come to when it's time to make that change or break that pattern, is like, this is obviously one of the things that's holding me back, and I got to let it go before I've got to make room for whatever God wants to put in there. Whether that's in the past, literally it was looking at things I shouldn't have looked at. I would have been ashamed if anybody saw what I was maybe looking at on my phone. Or, the alarm going off, and instead of getting up and hitting the sidewalk walking, getting my walk in with my coffee in hand, I have my coffee on the couch. And then I may or may not get the walk in that day. And it's wild when you can build up that momentum and turn that, once it becomes a habit, that's what you're working towards, right? And enough recovery to days becomes the habit, and you don't have to think about it as much. You don't have to be as intentional about it. Does that make sense?
It totally does.
Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hitstreak. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hitstreak. What's something that, when we look at 2026, obviously there's a lot of things that we're going to close out. 2025 was a lot of fun. We totally renovated. We're literally sitting, ironically, on opposite sides of the room in our old office for where we worked together for 5.5 years, pretty much every single day. I was on that side of the room where you're at. You were on this side of the room, and now it's our flagship studio. 2025 we did a lot.
Yeah, we sure did. There was lots of things moving at all the times.
And I'm not the best at acknowledging those things, because my job is to protect and be the visionary for the future and then communicate that down. So I don't always remember to celebrate the wins that we had, because sometimes I feel like it's a distraction, even though it's not. My job is to keep distractions at a minimum and keep everybody focused forward. And there's an art to do that, because the person that I just described, whether it's me or anybody else, if they don't know how to make it pleasant, it's not a pleasant job. And it's not pleasant for anybody else around you, right? So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, without dragging this part of the episode out, is that I got, by really truly feeding my faith on another level, I got new clarity. And the clarity was kind of unique, because I didn't necessarily like what I saw, but I saw what I wanted to fix. For me, that was huge. What about you?
I'm sorry, I don't know what your question was. Because
this is a raw episode, folks.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just
in 20.
For me, the clarity was amazing in just learning the growth. I've told you some things that I've wanted to say for years and just didn't know how, or didn't have the confidence, or whatever reason. I don't know why I held them in. Honestly, I don't. So for me, the clarity was the gift of 2025, and it let me know that I could just breathe and have confidence in myself and know that I got it as a leader, right? What were some of the things that you discovered about yourself
in 2025?
Just in general.
Yeah, that it's okay not to please everyone. It's I don't have to say yes to make people happy. Respect my own boundaries with my time, and 2025 the last few years have just been lesson after lesson and lesson. And I think another thing I discovered about even marriage is communication, but it's, do you know what direction to take that communication? And, we can sit here all day and say, well, we got to communicate. But if we're communicating, but we don't understand our communication, then what are we doing? And I think that was something that I picked up on a lot this year, is I'm communicating, but then Does he understand? Because my explanation of something, you may not take it. You may not understand it. And I mean, but that happens every single day. Like, how did you get to that point? Well, that's how my brain works, and your brain works completely different.
It's the moment I get to know you, you grow, and I get the gift of doing it again. That's what I figured out. And I figured out that, man, she did grow. She did develop. Like she's a different person. I need to make sure I recognize who I'm talking to. And it takes me being attentive and aware to do that. And that was probably one of the greatest gifts that God gave me in the recent months is that I actually got to see you the way that I wanted to. For whatever reason, I just got in my own way.
Yeah, you did.
Ethan's 16. He's driving. Ansley's 4 going on 40. And we're in new phases. We're past all the Mickey Mouse for the most part. She's literally a walking princess, and all the princesses, Fancy Nancy, all the things. I just having a daughter is like the coolest thing ever. And all the dads out there be like, wait till she gets 16. Don't ruin it for me yet. All right, let me just enjoy this moment, I'm sure. And then and then Ethan being 16 and having friend circles and stuff that like it's wild knowing that people have access, even though they're his age, access to your child, and that's part of him taking and owning his own life. He already had his first fender bender, right? So that didn't take long.
Nope, sure didn't.
It was a wild year. The last 12 months have just been wild because I would say the most change in being parents that we've had in a long time has happened in just the last 12 months.
Agreed. You go back and listen to even just 2 years ago of Ethan's voice and how much it changed. Even Ansley's voice and how much it changed. She went from like a toddler to like an 8-year-old just overnight. I mean, the shoes I have on today, they're hot pink. And as soon as she saw them, she said, I very much want some of those shoes. Okay, well then I guess we'll have to get them. Yeah. And the two of them together, they're just, it's the cutest thing in the whole world. Like, she is his best friend. Like, he wasn't there when she got up today. And she's like, where's my Bubba? Where's he at? Why is he not with us? And they just do these little things with each other. And yeah, they actually do fight. So it's kind of funny too. If he touches her on the head, Mom, Ethan pushed me. It's like, is that a truth or a lie, Ansley? Well, it's a lie. Okay, well then why did you tell it? And then you've got your 16-year-old, driving, having fender benders, and you're teaching your 4-year-old to try not to wet the bed at night. So it is a blessing, and it is definitely teaching us lessons in life we would have never known before.
It's a lot of firsts. It's a lot of things that we become aware of real quick, even all the way down to, how do you teach a 16-year-old to be a big brother to a 4-year-old? When we put him in charge a lot, he sees the way that we talk to her. He gets his own little unique communication channel with her that's different from ours, and he's still working on figuring out what that means. But it's wild because on one hand he'll correct her like he's us, but then and that's not the right thing. But how do you explain that? Like, I've never even thought about that before until we're in it. You know what I mean? Well, the fender bender thing, it happened in the month of December.
I know dates. December 17th.
December 17th. So literally like a week before Christmas.
Yep. We were going to see Santa.
We were going to see Santa that night. Jensen was actually at the house. We were filming a bunch of Christmas content for the week of Christmas. And the phone rang and you got it.
I was actually out on a walk.
Yep.
Ethan had picked her up just right down the road. And he called me and said, hey, I just got in a wreck. And said, I'll be right there. It was only 8 minutes from her house. Get there, and immediately the first thing I said is start recording. These things, as your 16-year-old's there by himself, he's rear-ended someone, and now the police could get there. I was just like, start recording. I'll be right there. And he handled it. It's about as good as any 16-year-old. Ansley, she don't even know that they got into a wreck. It was such a small little fender bender.
It still feels shady to me.
Yes, there are those people out there, that
we won't get into it. Get it if you got a teenager. Make sure they got a dash cam.
Yes, for sure. But he handled it well, and it's all good. I mean,
he thought I was going to kill him, didn't he?
He really did, and I'm sure our insurance will go up, but it is what it is.
That's only his dime, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, of course, you may not know this, but if you're under the age of 18, if you get more than a certain amount of points, like 6 points, I believe it is, in a year, you can't drive. So, it's
legally
you can't drive, right? You got to be extra careful. God, I probably hit that within the first 4 months of me driving.
So you drove illegal?
No, I didn't. But most people would just be like, "Oh, it's okay. We don't need to call the insurance company." Whether they were, who knows why they didn't tell me, but it worked out in my favor. So on paper, I only had like maybe 2 wrecks, but in reality, it was a lot more.
Well, it's there's we still have access to his communication, right? And we can see all the things that are going on, and he's such a good kid. He's such a man. If he can just stay on the right path, like literally, like he could have the best life, and he could help so many people in all the best ways. He's got some qualities that just like I still can't believe that that's my son sometimes. And a lot of parents see through a rose-colored lens, all right? I'm not that guy.
No, not even close. Neither one of us are.
Yeah, we're pretty honest about
it. He is a soul that is old and beautiful and caring and loving and so talented. Like, he's so talented. And just the way that he has the gift of, I'm not even going to call it gab because that sounds like a down, but he's just so gifted in people. And that's not something that everybody has or even likes if they have it. He loves it. Like, he would want people over all day. But yeah, I mean, he's a good kid. He's got his own debit card. He's trying to work. He does baseball lessons. He works out. I mean, his schedule is insane. Like, it really is insane. Like, we're teaching him Google Calendar. I mean, I'm trying to teach him everything. I've taught him I think he might know how to operate the washer and dryer more than Nick does. Sorry about that. He can cook his own food. I mean, we're teaching him most of the things. So, yeah.
And then at the same time, it's like, it's just wild because like at that age in life, he's so like, this is the same kid that can get himself up at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday, dress himself to impress, get to church by 7:30 in the morning.
He's usually the first one there
for church band rehearsals. Yeah. He's playing with adults. Most of them are pro musicians. I mean, it's a gig that like I'm probably not even qualified to do anymore. And I'm like, how can you be that kid and then be the same kid that leaves just like 8 bags of potato chips in your floor
and 17 cups in his shower? Like, someone tell me why do you take cups in your shower? We don't know.
I still ain't figured that one out yet, but it's just wild, and it's par for the course, I'm sure. And everybody develops at a different age, but it's just wild watching a person do this. Being a parent is like the greatest gift on earth. It's outside of Jesus, it's God's greatest gift, man. And it's a beautiful thing. And the challenges, as crazy as they are, and when you look back at them, you're grateful for every single memory. Yeah,
I agree. And it's truly a gift because you get to see why God sent Jesus here to save us, how much he loves us. He doesn't want us to fail. He wants us to thrive. And that, to me, you see that, especially like I wanted a girl first. And then, I remember, I think I actually cried a little bit when I found out I was having a boy because I wanted a girl so bad because I thought that was my only chance. But then I had Ethan, and I was just like, I knew exactly why God gave me him first, because if I would have had the girl first, I might not have had a second one. True. That is a true story. But kids are a gift, and I just can't imagine loving anything anymore.
Well, you're the coolest mom. I can speak from personal experience because you had to help raise me too. So
Yeah.
you're the coolest mom.
Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the HitLab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation.
Let me ask you a question though. What, like being a girl dad is right now, it's my most proud badge. Like I just love it. I can't get enough of it. How am I as a girl dad for real?
You're great. She loves her dad. I mean, she will tell me sometimes at night because it's our thing. I put her to bed, and some nights she doesn't want anybody but me. And some nights she says, "I've had enough of you today. I love you, but I really want my dad." She's very enunciated with her words. She loves you so much. Like the playing, the fun things. Like Nick you decided to take off her doorknobs that kept her in her room, and now she tells us, "I can't wait to wake you up in the morning."
Oh yeah, she's mobile.
But this morning was 2:30, but
Well, it's there's something about a little girl with the dad, and it's
you get to set the boundary of what she's going to look for in a husband. And that is the most important part.
It's wild.
We're not here to take care of our kids. We're here to raise them so that they can take care of their families. And that's one thing I tell Ethan all the time. Like, I'll scratch your back for a minute, but do not expect your wife to do this. I'll do this, but do not expect your wife. I'm raising you so that your wife will thank me one day, not hate me for how I raised you. And you can do that. That's the opportunity you get with her too. And the same for me. I mean, I'm teaching her how to be a mom to her kids one day. So again, that's patterns, right? We're back to patterns. We get to change any pattern that we want.
That's right.
Being parents.
Raising Ethan's so different because I want, like, with Ansley, I realize when I'm talking to her, I realize the emotion. I can see the emotion that she's feeling while I'm talking to her, which affects my tone. With Ethan, it's all about the lesson. It's weird because he's got to be tough, and he's going to be the leader. And the moment that I truly became me was the moment that I embraced that this is on me, my family. It's on me. I can't look to my mom and dad anymore. I can't look to grandparents that are no longer here. It's just me. I got to look myself in the mirror, look in my heart. It's between me and God, and that's it. So with him, like, I don't know, I feel guilty all the time, but I know it's the right thing. So I'm always going back and forth. It was the right thing. It wasn't the right thing. I could have did it better. There's probably a better way. I always want to get better and grow. I always want to do it in a better way. But at the same time, like, with him, tough
You gotta let him go.
Tough works with him.
Yeah. If you can't do him any favors. You cannot. And that for me is the hardest. Like, I want to make his lunch so bad for him every single day. Like, that's where I feel guilty with him. But I know if I don't let him do it, he's never going to learn. And then I did him no, we're not doing that anymore.
Well, the tough matters. I think it's better to raise tough boys than to have to repair broken men, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, I don't want to be so hard on him that he doesn't learn how to believe in himself and have confidence. And that's the place where it's like, and for me, that's where the time comes in, because if my workload, if my time management's off and it's too heavy towards the work side, then all I'm doing is dealing with the problems that were caused, and I'm not getting to encourage or be a part of the things that he's doing well. It's always come home, what do I got to fix, right? What I got to make sure is ready for the next thing. So for me, anytime I'm not giving him enough of the positive, it's because I just wasn't around enough. So for me, that's how usually where I find that is in the time management. And with Ansley, she's younger and it's a little bit different. But with Ethan, again, it all comes down to just choices. Every single thing that he does and decision that he makes, you're making a choice. Is this towards your goals or away from your goals? Every choice you make. As a matter of fact, every one of us in the world sitting where we're at today, we're here because of all the choices that we made that led us to this point.
Yep, that's right.
And if we don't like where we're at, then look in the mirror.
Make a different choice.
And question your choices. That's right.
Yeah, agreed. Ethan, you do a good job. The balance over the years, it just gets better and better and better. And he's at that pivotal age to where the trust and the time with him will determine how he brings things to you. You want him to be the, hey, Dad, something happened. I need your help. Not, I can't tell my dad something happened.
That's right.
And that's, to me, like something I've always tried to focus on. I wanted to be not the cool mom, but the mom that he could call for anything and trust. And I know that he has that same for you too.
So the biggest things that's changed for us business-wise in the last year was how we restructured and positioned our media and all the relationships and partnerships that formed. We mentioned the Root brands at the top of the episode, and that's a direct result of the podcast and how we've positioned our social media to operate more like an actual media company. Like, that was mind-blowing for me that we've been doing social media over a decade consistently in our businesses, but the part that was wasted on me was the word media. And when I actually sat down and thought about all the ways that all the different types of media that there are and all the ways that they have in common when it comes to making money or putting products in the customer's hands, I can't believe for such a long time I wasn't aware and looking at that. And the moment that we shifted that focus, one, our reach and our analytics just went through the roof. But more than anything, like our lead flow and our conversions did. What is, like, you've been a direct result of this. Look at your own social media, like your own Instagram went from reaching maybe 10,000 people every 30 days to reaching six figures of people every 30 days. And you'll be hitting the 7-figure mark this year.
Yep.
And the coolest thing is that we know exactly how to do it. It's like a water faucet now. What's been one of the biggest things that you felt, because you didn't, I mean, again, that's my specialty. That's, my job. And, you get more of a client feel when it comes to that. But what did you feel? Like, what's some of the biggest impacts that you've seen with how we're structuring these things and all the doors that we're opening? We're still in the middle of it.
I think more than anything, the clear vision that you helped me get to of what I help people with in the marketplace. That was the biggest thing for me. I think I even cried because it was like, I know I do all these things like insurance and brand different stuff and just knowing who I know and being able to just have this one statement of, I connect people with what they need, that. And then how do I break that down into a calendar? How does that look on social media? What does that look like in a daily life? And then being able to come into the studio and doing content shoots and having, I can read a teleprompter. There's just so many things that it just kind of just narrowed the path a little bit. Instead of which road do I take here? I knew the path. It was like, instead of pulling up my destination and maybe adding a bunch of stops in there, I didn't have to do that. I knew exactly where I was going. And that clarity is what the Hit Lab really, really, really did for me and what I want to do. And it made me want to do even more on social media. Just, why am I being quiet? Why am I scared? Well, for what? And you helped me kind of shut that voice up a little bit.
Well, just hearing you talk about it, figuring out what you're going to eat for dinner isn't a stressful thing. You literally do it every single day. But filming content used to be a stressful thing. Mm-hmm. And the difference in why I said, eating isn't stressful is because like what you know you're going to eat, and you know what your choices are, and you know what the purpose of eating is, and you're simply just filling the need, and you know what you like, right? So you've done research, you've thought about it. You didn't just walk into your kitchen and be like, it's dinner time, now what? It was, you thought about it, you planned it, all these things happened that led up to that moment when it was time to prepare the meal and then consume it. With content, it was like we'd show up and be like, what are we doing? And it was like, you already lost, man. You already lost. You already knew it was coming, right? And that's the best content is the most intentional content.
Agree.
And for a long time, ours wasn't near as intentional as it needed to be. Would that be an accurate statement?
I believe so, for sure. It's definitely intentional now, and will only get better as time goes and we learn and develop over the next few months throughout the year. We've
even learned, the power of a piece of content is a digital asset that you should use more than once, unless it sucks. But so the good ones, you definitely want to use a lot, and you usually will use them the most when they're closer to being current versus in the past, right? So that's something that even we're working with the team with right now is a lot of times our reruns will have too much stagnation in between. It might take a week or two before we show it to you again, and I'm like, dude, show it to them again tomorrow. And again the next day and the next day, and then let the stagnation, you insert the stagnation in there, and then you can kind of bring it back. But it's kind of like it's all momentum based. And when you find out something that's working, like, for instance, I was told you we could double or triple yours anytime we want because we know what every single post you put out on average, what it's going to, the performance of it. So if we want to double it, we just do that twice as much. If we want to triple it, 3 times as much. If we want to go 5 times as much, that's literally how you grow things. And, so it's when you know that clarity, when you have that clarity and you can create that intentionality behind it, it removes all the stress when you come in. And I actually I love doing this stuff. I can't believe that we get to call this work, Rhiannon.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here hanging out with you.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of want, my vision in the future, growing up, I kind of wanted to do the weather. I kind of want to have a little TV thing or something. And the more we learn about it, we have so many things we can share, and we just have our own TV network.
We do have our own TV network.
I'll do the weather and report all the good things. That's what I'm assigning myself.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It is wild when you think about it like that, right? It's it's anything that we want to do, we can do it because of the situation that we're in. There was something that you said. It might take me a second to bring it back. I'll come back to it. I'll figure it out. I'll come back. It'll come back to me. But in the meantime, what is your favorite part about working with the team at the Hit Lab? Antoine and the guys, Jensen, all our partners. What's your favorite part about creating the content, coming into the studio, just the overall experience? Is it, for me, it's seeing it, the finished product, and I see it on the screen. That's my favorite part. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is the growth that the team has had too, because they've been around and doing it so much now that when I get stumped, they're the first ones, here's where you need to go. It's they're being directors, they're directing your content. So it's not all on you. You have a team. They're on your strategy call. They're on the content session. So they know exactly what the purpose is. Yeah, the bloopers are my favorite because you get to see exactly what I'm talking about and how it makes me feel and how much fun it is being in the studio.
You ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners.
Well, Rhiannon, one of the things that I have to make sure we spend time talking about today is really just world happenings. Health insurance is a big topic in that. As we sit today, it's wild what we're seeing happening up north in Minnesota and everything. And we don't really do a lot with the politics side. I think there's people that have there's enough people on that, and and quite frankly, I think it's a little bit silly that so many folks have taken like that is. It's almost like when your favorite team loses and it just ruins your day. When they lose an election, they've lost. They're miserable for 4 years, and like. It's wild. I know who we like and I know what we support and what we stand for. But even when the opposite may be in office, it really didn't affect my day-to-day too much. You might say, well, it does for others and, prices are different and so on and so forth. Yeah, but my overall goal of the day didn't change. It just the factors of which to achieve it did, right? And I'm going to lead in with this. Like one of my favorite things that I've ever read that Abraham Lincoln said was that a house divided will not stand. So, we're going to be, as we sit today, we're going to be going to the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. It's our 4th year to be in the leadership group on that and get to give people access to those seats, those limited seats. And it's, for me, the perspective of all the folks from the other countries. How many countries are represented there, give or take?
I want to say it's at least 190 because I know that's the languages. It's a lot.
It's and there's how many people were at last year's prayer breakfast total? Almost 3,000?
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000. And well over half were international.
Correct.
Right? I mean, we're talking diplomats, world leaders. We don't know who a Saudi prince could be sitting next to us at the bar after the breakfast. But it's so cool because we get to hear from these world leaders like direct. And I don't think people understand, what most of our media is feeding us is not what the rest of the world is being fed. And the rest of the world, if you could see the United States from their perspective, I think it would be really eye-opening for a lot of folks. Like last year, that was something that was said, it's so sad what's happening to the United States, seeing the media divide. It's like that. I mean, is the United States the Walt Disney World of the world? Is it the happiest place on earth? It's supposed to be.
It is supposed to be. And I believe at one time they call it the horseshoe. Here's the right side of the horseshoe. Here's the left side of the horseshoe. When if you sat down with 10 people that were on one side and 10 the other, they're all really in the middle of that horseshoe. But when you have the noise from the media constantly telling you should be mad at this, you should do this is going on, they're helping you form your opinion, whether it's one side or the other. And when you allow that to happen, you're just going to continue to be divided. You have to stop the noise and go back to being grounded in your foundation and what you stand for. And again, most people, we're all really in the middle of that horseshoe. We're not on one side or the other, but the media likes to put us in that way.
And it sucks and it's kind of silly too because every time we're taking shots at each other, we're weakening our own armor. And we're not the real enemy. The real enemy is somewhere else, and they're just waiting on us until we get weak enough, and then it's the perfect time to take their shot. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I get from the international folks that we get to hang out with for a week in D.C. is that, like, one, Capitol Hill, there's, at least in the years past, I was shocked by how much Jesus is present.
A lot. The amount of people that get up and speak and how they met someone at a prayer group, that blew me away. I had no idea. And the other part too is all those leaders of those countries. Our leaders have 20 years on them I was like, that was something that I didn't realize either. I think the guy from Rwanda stood up and he was only like 48. He was so young. So that's something that's completely different in most other countries.
What's one of the other things that really sticks out? Like last year, Trump came, spoke at the breakfast, which that was the first one we had a sitting president because we started going during the COVID era. That was awesome. and the energy around him was incredible. It was an honor and a privilege for me to be sitting there.
Yeah, no matter who's president, just being in the room of that, just how important what they take on, no matter who's president, whether it's Republican or Democrat, what they're up against every single day, and just being in a room with them and seeing, I mean, the shutdown, the lockdown, we had to get in line like 2 hours earlier than normal. Once you got in the room, you could not leave after a certain time. And then you see in all the like limos and everything, and it's like, oh, JD Vance was here or so-and-so was here. It's just really cool. Like, our government was built on, it was built on Jesus. It was built on loving one another and a one nation under God. And when you're in that prayer breakfast, I feel that. I feel it back from George Washington days. What they started it all on.
It really is, and there's no way to really describe it or put it into words. It's an unbelievable experience, from private tours of the Capitol, sitting on the House floor.
I mean, just the building alone. Like, They don't build things like that. If we built a Capitol today, it would be outside of its warranty in 2 years.
That's right. And the people that we've met, that we've built relationships with. One of my favorite weeks of the year is going to Washington, D.C. with you for that prayer breakfast. It's an honor and a privilege.
Love it. I can't wait. So excited. All
right, so let's talk. I want to get your take on some things healthcare-wise, because this is your specialty, man.
It is.
There's two ends of the spectrum, two sides of the spectrum here when it comes to health insurance, which is something that we do actually believe in. But we believe in the right health insurance plan at the right time for a family.
Yep.
Right? A lot of folks are saying that health insurance is a scam these days. How do you feel about that?
It goes back to the media. We're told we can buy a plan for $0 and it covers everything. It's a scam because people don't read it and don't have the proper expectations. No one is communicating what health insurance is actually for. If you use your car insurance, it's because something bad happened, and you have to pay at least $1,000 before they're going to start putting what you signed on that paper. And I feel people that say it's a scam, it's just they don't understand what they're actually buying. And that's, we're just not taught that anywhere in life. We're told from, people that are just trying to make a paycheck, oh, this is $0 deductible, it's going to cover everything. No, somebody's paying for something. Not a scam, just read the fine print. To me, that's the best thing I can. And if you don't understand that fine print, find the professionals. That's what we do. That's what I do. I could probably read brochures. I could spout off several brochures, what they say, without even thinking about it, because that's what I'd help people with and help them understand that it's not a scam.
I agree. And it's a tool. It's not a scam. It's a tool.
If you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
That's right.
But if you can't afford it, then let's find out what that price looks like. What risk are you willing to take? And what risk are you willing to pay the insurance company to take?
Boom.
Those are the questions that you need to be asking.
It's, and again, I think the insurance companies are sometimes unfairly, look, I've seen, you can go the same way for both sides, and I'm sure that some insurance companies could probably redirect their profits back into the marketplace if they wanted to. Okay, but again, they're a privately held business; they get to run it the way they want to. We get to choose who we consume and do business with. The same goes for the doctors and the hospitals and the practitioners, right? And that was probably the thing that was most eye-opening for me is it's like, there's actually a crazy viral video that we're going to do a response to today where basically the guy's on the phone on speakerphone. He calls about a claim, and it's like, well, if you're insured, it's this price. If you're not insured, it's this less of a price. And he's like, well, whoa, wait a minute. So I'm like, penalized for having health insurance, right? That's not an insurance problem. That's a problem on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And knowing how to have that conversation, that's where you're so great.
And that's just the facility. What doctors' offices, hospitals, facilities, they are filing your insurance on your behalf as a favor to you. They do not have to do that. They do not have to do that. That is something that they do because they know they're going to get paid for it, and they have contracts with insurance companies. And that's something I used to do. I used to get contracts between doctors and insurance companies. So I would read the fee schedule, and there is so much that goes behind what the doctor sends, what the insurance company gets, and then that tells you what you owe. And then depending on the way your plan works, then that tells you something else. So there's so many different parts that go into it. There is no way for the average consumer, most consumers for that matter. I talk to finance people that are some of the smartest people I know, but when it comes to insurance, it's like speaking another language.
Do you remember when I was at the emergency room for, I was having a flare up with diverticulitis.
Yes.
And you remember they were going to give us give me an ibuprofen. And I don't remember if you asked or if I asked, but you go, how much is that ibuprofen? And they were like $800. And I was like, nope, don't want it.
And that's the other part. Where else do you go and say, I want X, X, and X done, and then don't ask how much it costs? And you don't do that anywhere. And with the other part of insurance companies and facilities, insurance companies are expected to pay, let's just say, for a vaccine. But that means that they're also subjecting their risk to what if that vaccine causes something down the road? Or this medicine, what if it causes something down the road? You hear the commercials for prescriptions. Here, this will help with your eczema, but you could have, a laundry list of things. And they're supposed to cover that. So that's, again, that just shows you how complex it truly is.
And the human body is complex.
So much. And you don't know if person A is going to have a reaction to this medicine or this procedure. You just don't know what you don't know.
All right. So one of the big topics about when it comes to insurance is the preventative part. All right. And health insurance is the only insurance, I think I'm not mistaken, that is expected to pay for preventative actions. One of the big things when it comes to prevention is the world of vaccines, and you are extremely educated on this. We've had one of the coolest things I've ever seen you light up in. One of the coolest moments I've ever seen you light up in is when you got to meet Candace Owens, hang out with Candace Owens for a while. She was such an awesome person, a sweetheart.
She truly is. And she, no matter what your stance on her, she is extremely good at pulling the facts. And that is why when she had her vaccine show, I watched every single one of it. I read every single paper she pulled up, which we all actually have access to. No one just thinks to do that. With vaccines, again, you cover all these vaccines that prevent something, but what if it causes something? Then the insurance companies have to cover that too. With vaccines, that's such a big topic, and there's so much to talk about there. But overall, again, you just look at the facts. Like when someone's not held responsible for a condition that something could cause, that kind of puts a red flag. Like, that makes my ears go up a little bit. Why?
Hey, pardon this quick interruption, but it's a good one. You're listening to this ad right now, which means someone else could be listening to your ad in this exact spot. Go to nickhyder.com/contact-me or click the link in the show notes to get started. Let's put your brand in the spotlight right where it belongs.
With insurance companies, they're paying for your preventative. But why would I want to pay for a preventative? If I'm an insurance company and I'm going in front of 100 people and 90 of those people eat like crap, don't exercise, sleep, sit all day, play video games, or overweight, but I want to prevent them, like maybe they should be doing other things to prevent their health.
That's my side on it is it's like, why? I don't expect the insurance company to pay for my prevention of bad health, if I'm not willing to do it first.
Right.
Right. And like, look, man, when you look at pictures of me 10, 15 years ago and 60 pounds heavier, I was a ticking time bomb. Literally.
And most people are, and preventative health starts so much more than through an insurance company. I'm not, it's taking care of yourself. And if even just 20% of the population just got better at doing that, rates would go down. Things would be different. But it's just not the case.
I'm going to make a bold statement. And, anytime you, like, In-N-Out Burger's new to Tennessee, right? It's an hour-long wait at the drive-thru. It's the lines around the door, or around the building at Chick-fil-A, at McDonald's, at Hardee's, at all of them. The moment those lines go down, I think the insurance premiums will go down with it.
Yeah.
I think the moment those lines go down, I think that the insurance premiums will follow.
We just, I see all these things. It's, we used to eat that as a kid. No, it's different. It's all changed. The ingredients and things are different. But we just all have to do a better job of just being informed about whether it's vaccines, food, all the things. Like you got to be informed.
I think they're going to look back at the time we're in now, and this is the age of disclosure. But the disclosure is coming from a lot of crazy sources. Not all of them are trustworthy, and a lot of them are motivated by the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, especially raising kids and raising ourselves, is knowing who our trusted sources are. And I don't think it's a left or a right thing. I think there's good and there's bad, and I think that there's good and bad on it everywhere. But I definitely think that, like, we need to look at learning how to take more responsibility for ourselves. Like, again, if my confidence offends you, or anything if anything I do offends you, you gave me too much power. Mm-hmm. And when you give power away, you lose, and you're always the victim the moment you give up your power, right? So now that could be taken and ran the wrong direction and everything else, but I'm talking about, like, the feelings and stuff like that, So at the end of the day, we had a breakthrough between you and I, where it's like, look, it took me saying everything that's wrong with our family, it's on me. I'm going to fix it. And then you did the exact same thing. And then Ethan does the exact same thing. And the moment we all took responsibility for our own feelings in our own life, all of a sudden everything changed. It's wild.
Yeah, and it's just, no matter what you do, there's been patterns that have been established for 20, 30, 40 years. And that's just what people do. Yeah. We go eat dinner. We go do this. We go to the doctor once a year to be checked. We go get vaccines. We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, based on why, though? When you start to really dig into those things and those patterns that humans have done over the years, it kind of makes you wake up a little bit. Like, we're not designed to do all those things. Like, there's other ways to do it. And again, that's why you have the increase in heart disease in women and men, and diabetes, and just Alzheimer's. I mean, there's factors that didn't just happen overnight. There were patterns and factors over years that have led to that. And I will study them for the rest of my life.
No doubt. Well, again, understanding that in the world of health insurance or any type of insurance, it's simply a tool to solve a problem that arises, whether that be through bad health, an accident, a car accident, Mother Nature taking the roof off your home, or anything else. I love the fact, like, I don't want to use any of my insurance.
No.
I want it. I believe I need it. I don't want to use it. And I feel like that peace of mind has a monthly cost to it. Yeah. And if I'm comfortable with that, I feel good about it, right? Exactly. At the end of the day, it's for protection. Mm-hmm. It's for protection. So,
yeah. So I believe everything for when it comes to being protected has a cost, and that's how you figure that out by what you're willing to pay for that protection.
So as we look forward, all right, this is the year that our house and our home, our pool, all those things get put back together. These are there's some things that we've been battling and going up against that make things extremely difficult for literally well over a year and a half. some heavy lifts and loads that we've been carrying for a long time that we finally get to shed that weight, move on. We'll be grateful for all of it on the other side because of the skill sets that were required for us to learn to navigate through those and continue to move forward in life without those the tools and assets, right? And as I'm sitting here with you today, I've always looked at pictures of us when we did stuff like this and thought, man, like I want to do a show with Rhiannon. Are we going to do a show?
I think so. I think we totally should.
What will we talk about?
Everything.
Everything doesn't matter. Like,
no.
Would it be something we did every day, once a week? What do you think?
Maybe once a week.
Maybe once a week to start?
Yeah.
Dude, that would be so much fun.
Mm-hmm. It would be a lot of fun. Holy
cow. I'm just sitting here thinking, maybe, am I walking into a booby trap?
No. Not at all.
We can just talk about last night's episode of Landman if we have to or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you going to go with me? I'm going to interview Travis at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
Of course. I have to see the anomaly in the mesa. Like, I have to see it.
We do have to see it. I got to experience for myself. I have so many questions. No, we have to do a show. Mm-hmm. We have to do a show. What would it be called?
Live with Nick and Ree?
Live with Nick and Ree. It's going to be a live show?
Maybe, yeah. Raw and uncut. It's fun.
That's spicy.
Yeah.
That's spicy. Because this has outtakes in this one. Like,
yeah.
They're hearing this part right here, but they didn't hear the middle pieces.
Yep.
So we're going to just let all that out. We're going to give it to them all. Give it to them all. All right. Well, you heard it here. I guess we're doing a live show in 2026.
Yep.
And we're going to call it Live with Nick and Ree. Mm-hmm. Or is it Live with Ree and Nick?
I'm fine with Nick and Ree.
Done.
Cool. I'm excited.
Well, shoot, man. I couldn't be more excited for the direction that we're going. I felt like the season that we're going into has been a season that we've been preparing for multiple seasons.
Years.
Gosh. And yeah, and it's really exciting. And I'm so grateful for the folks that have helped get us here, the folks that are going to be a part of that journey in the future, and everybody's patience while we work through it and figured it out, because this has been uncharted territory.
It has. It has. And it's just lesson after lesson is what I'm taking from it.
Lesson after lesson. But again, those are the gifts, aren't they?
Yeah.
For years, we've been cultivating relationships.
And sometimes not even know where they were going. Just knew the relationship was going to thrive in itself if we just kept planting those seeds.
Absolutely. Some are relationships that were, let's just say, short term, and there's some that are going to be long term. And it took some time to figure out what was what, who was who, which was which, where to invest, how much to invest in those relationships, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of like the theme for this year. Really, is we've figured out the media portion and how to leverage that. Literally, this show has been it's been the cultivator of all those relationships, every one of them. And what they mean next, and having multiple recurring series, shows, or whatever you want to call them. And but really just doubling down on those relationships. Can you believe the people that we get to hang out with on a regular basis?
I really can't. And
do they say that about us?
I know. I don't think, we, of course, as humans, you don't think that, but some of the people are just, you have to sit back every day and be like, God, thank you for putting me in the room. I mean, that's something I pray and say and thank God for. I'm grateful for every day, is the opportunity that we have, multiple opportunities we have every single day. And it comes from the relationships that we are in and have been put in front of us.
Going back to feeding your faith and trusting and all those things, and the patterns of those things, it's just wild to me how, at the Old Timers Banquet the other night, there's some folks there, literally from our neighborhood. And I'm out walking literally yesterday, and one of those amazing men pulls over, says, "Hey, dude, I was really impressed with that banquet. I can help. Call me." And I was like, what? Like, I don't think that conversation would have happened had the last 60 days, some of the, let's just say, demons, skeletons in my closet that I needed to get rid of, finally toss, not just bury them because they're still there, to literally throw them away, remove them. Those things wouldn't have happened. And that's how, for me, that's how God kind of shows up is, I became aware of those bad patterns, those negative patterns as they were happening. And then it was almost like learning to be open-minded. One of my favorite podcasts that I made you watch last year was with the Danny Jones podcast, where they had the Charlie Duke, the astronaut, and then Bart, the main skeptic, going at it for like 4 hours. And that was something that Bart said, whether you agree or disagree with him. He said, I used to be NASA's biggest fan, and then I learned to just be open-minded, and then that gave me opportunity to hear another side. That's really important in the world today.
You talk about, maybe not today, but in the past, we've always talked about looking through the windshield and not the rearview mirror. But when you have those demons and those looking, like you're expecting something bad to happen because that's just what's happened. It's like your windshield is dirty and you're forced to look behind. You have to look behind because you can't see forward. But when you do remove those, just like you said, what you look for will come your way. I can't remember who said the quote, but it's, whether you do or you don't, you're right. Right? So whether you believe in yourself or you don't, you're right. Whether you wake up feeling good or you don't, you're right. However, what you tell yourself is there's something about that. And I truly believe in manifestation, praying, well, however you want to call it, but that positive thinking and being grateful. That's when God just says, oh, well, here's some more. And he just keeps planting in the good because that's what you're looking for.
That dirty windshield analogy was really good.
I know.
That was really good.
I had to tell it to myself a million times while you were sitting there talking so I didn't forget it.
There you go. That was really, really good. And I'm going to use it, and I'll give you credit. I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
But you are right. And your windshield does have to be clear to be able to look through it. That's right. Man, that's really a great point. A really great point. So I think that's a good way to kind of bring this sucker
clean
to
your
a close.
windshield.
Clean your windshield.
Don't look in the rear view.
Yeah. Look in the rearview mirror to know where you've been, but that's it. Focus on the future, but you do got to be able to see through that windshield. Make sure it's clean.
That's right.
Wow. So that's what I've been doing for a while, is just cleaning my dang windshield. That's what that whole personal development, self-development stuff was about, cleaning my windshield. And one of the greatest gifts that I would hope everybody else can find is the growth that I wanted to have in myself. It was for you and for the kids. That's how it was for me, right? So it's selfish, but it's also unselfish. It's both, because I want to be so great. I want to be a champion for you guys. Like, you guys are my inspiration. You guys are the foundation for all of it. For a long time, I couldn't say that, but I can now. And as I sit here at 45 years old, I feel like I'm just, I'm in my prime, baby. Yeah. I feel like I'm just getting started.
Yeah, I agree. Never agreed more.
So, and it wasn't easy to get here. And 2 weeks ago, I was beat up and tired.
Right, just a few days ago, you get beat up and you're tired every day. Yeah. Something's always going to get thrown on your windshield. You just got to remember to keep it clean.
Well, publicly, I want to apologize to you for just being a dumbass for a long time.
Well, I have lashes. I'm not supposed to cry, so let's keep this.
I will. But I want you to know I'll be a dumbass again later, I'm sure.
We all
but I'm aware of it now, and I don't want to be. I want to be a champion for you and the kids. That's it. That's it. And I mean that with 100% of me. And it relieved all that was the ultimate pressure release for me, is knowing that that's why I want to do it and who I want to do it for. And that's how it's for me too. Right? It's for me. So I finally found what I want for me, which is actually for all of us. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts that I've been given. So
Agreed.
I'm grateful for it, and I feel it every day. And I'm waking up grateful versus waking up tired. Mm-hmm. And being grateful is a choice. And I love the fact that I can't remember who told me that, but you can't be grateful for something that you feel entitled to. And maybe I felt entitled to certain things my wife is supposed to do for me. It's better to be grateful, and I am grateful. I'm grateful. So I don't know why you had the patience for the last 18 years that we've been together, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I can promise you this. You're going to love the next 18. I promise.
I'm going to hold you to that.
All right.
And I believe you.
Finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. Big thanks to my guest, my bride, Rhiannon, in the building today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. God bless.